So what can we learn from Shedeur Sanders sliding in the NFL draft last night? There are a few things. First of all, we want to ask the question, just how hard was Sheduer coached in the NCAAs and at Colorado? And this really goes to the ecosystem that we all come from as in our families, as we go from our families into adulthood. When you're growing up in a family, this is all of us for 18 years, 21 years, and then you go off to college, right? Okay, so you grew up in an ecosystem, right? It's a system that is designed differently than every other system that's out there, right? Similar but different. That's our families. Well, Shedeur Sanders certainly grew up in a different kind of ecosystem than me and you, right? Than most people, right? Okay. So when you get out of your ecosystem and you go into a bigger ecosystem, the world, there can be a culture shock. When I grew up in my family ecosystem and then I went to the military, I went straight to the military, 18, 19 years old. Guess what? It was a culture shock, especially going into the military, and I didn't do well. I didn't do well. I got into trouble. It was totally different than I thought, and I'm a great kid, great person. Okay, so I had to learn the new ecosystem that I was in. Right, Shedeur Sanders is learning that the ecosystem of his family is different than the ecosystem of the NFL and of the general public. You grew up in a whole different ecosystem. So that goes back to my question. How hard was Sheduer actually coached? Those two things are the reason why he slid in the NFL draft. Is because what the other coaches are seeing, the coaches and the GMs and the scouts, they're seeing that, okay, we see the film and everything like that. And, we see the stats that he put up and everything like that. But guess what? Happens all the time when we draft players from the college level, from that ecosystem, and they get into the NFL and they fail. So we know what makes a good to great NFL player. You are not great.